Hello, Namaskar, and a very good afternoon to all the viewers watching NCRT's live interactive session. This is Simran Singh, and you have all connected with us through our YouTube channel NCRT Official, and you can also watch the live telecast on eVidya channels 6 to 12. And viewers, once again, I would like to take the moment to welcome all of you in the third day of our online training session on blended learning. You all know that blending learning has the potential to revolutionize the way teaching and learning is done. It enhances the educational outcomes, and at the same time it enhances our thinking skills, the critical ability in this digital age, and helps us to learn and grow. So as I just informed you that it's the third day of the training program, let's just have a look at our screens and get to know the areas that we will be discussing for the following days, and also what we have discussed so far. So you can see on your screen that on the first day of the training program, we were discussing about blended learning, the policy recommendations, the concept, the need and the scope. Second day was about the models of blended learning. Today we are going to discuss at length about designing of blended learning. Tomorrow the conversation will revolve around technology tools and resources in blended learning. And on 15th of September, that is the concluding day for the 5 days online training program, we will discuss at length about assessment and feedback in blended learning. And also viewers, in today's conversation, we have with us our guest, our panelists. So let me introduce you to the guest for the program. Here we have with us Professor Jayashree Shinde ma'am. Namaskar ma'am. We welcome you in the conversation. And let me also take our viewers across your journey. Ma'am is heading the Department of Educational Technology, SNTD, Women's University, Mumbai. She is also serving as the Director of Teaching Learning Center established under Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission for Teachers and Training, Ministry of Education, Government of India. She has been providing her services in the department for the last 27 years. Also, her areas of expertise deals with educational technology, e-learning, instructional design, ODL systems, OER development, ICT based training, interactive material development, constructive pedagogies and innovative assessments. Thank you so much for connecting with us, and it's our honor to have you with us in the conversation. Viewers, in the live session, if you have any of the queries, you know the different mediums through which you all can connect with us, and one of them is our contact number that's flashing on your screens. It is 8800440559, and all the queries regarding the topics that we are going to cover and we are covering or we have covered will be attended only on this mail ID flashing on your screens. It is training.helpdesk@ciet.nic.in. And once again, let me remind you that after the 5 days online training program, like once we conclude on 15th of September, we have our post session activity for all our viewers. You can register yourself through the website of CIET that I will be displaying towards the last 5 minutes of the program. So till the end, stay tuned and stay connected with us. As of now, let's begin the conversation and understand about the designing and the different designs of blended learning. So we have with us Professor Jayashree ma'am. Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Ms. Simran, and thank you, CIT Joint Director Professor Behra, for inviting me. And after a long time, I'm once again discussing about designing blended learning. Blended learning is our all-time favorite area because we see a lot of potential in the entire blended learning approach. So let's proceed with the session.
Of course.
I will start my session where my video ends. Now this video, whoever would like to go through the video can just search Blend is Beautiful, and it's on the YouTube. I'll just show the browser once. So this is where the video is, and if you search Blend is Beautiful, basically the message is yes, any kind of blend is beautiful. That's why how blended learning can turn into a beautiful classroom environment and a beautiful teaching learning environment, which may not be.
Yes, ma'am. You are sharing an important detail with us. where we are about to watch the video on Blend is Beautiful. Let me once again remind our viewers that once we conclude our training program on 15th September 2023, we are going to discuss at length, and at the same time we
Show the
have
previous image.
our quiz for all of you. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you. You may proceed.
Okay. So now can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Perfectly audible, ma'am. You may proceed.
Yes. Thank you. Did you miss audio of the previous part?
Yes, ma'am. We have missed seeing the video and the audio. If you could replay that.
Okay. So I was
Okay. So let's skip the video.
from
We will
with
try
the
to watch the video later. We will
Yes,
try.
we are not going to play this video now. This is just introduction that whoever would like to see the video can go on YouTube and search Blend is Beautiful Shinde and you will come across this video. My session starts from the point where this video ends. And I said the message basically in this video is any blend is beautiful. So you can see this blend of colors is really very beautiful, and we can imagine how the teaching learning environment, if it is blended, can be beautiful. But the next message is meaningful blend is more beautiful. You can see how integrate this design is. So
Of course,
learning environment
we can all
again.
understand this, that blend is beautiful, ma'am. You may switch off your camera and let's just proceed with the PowerPoint.
Are you again facing? Am I facing issue of
A bit
bandwidth
of
in between?
technical issues. A bit of technical issues we are facing here. So
Okay,
yes, you may switch off the
let's try.
camera and we can switch to the PowerPoint directly.
Yes, I'm on the PowerPoint. So now you are on the PowerPoint on
Yes,
my slide, right?
yes, yes.
Okay. Okay. So I was mentioning about this diagram, power of design, the power of meaningful environments. So the designing any meaningful environment requires some effort, some systems. And we are very meaningful teaching learning situations, teaching learning experiences. Those may be in the classroom, those may be with e-learning ICT tools, or maybe without any ICT tools. You can see in one picture that there is no ICT tool, but still they all are working, creating something. And that's why we need some thoughtful designs. Blended learning needs planned design. So the moment we say learning, we think of learning designs, instructional designs, and most of us are aware of various instructional design approaches. ADDIE is very popular approach which is used in educational organizations as well as in corporate. So I will not again go into the details of ADDIE, but we start with need analysis, we start with target audience analysis, goal analysis, and then only we go to the design. Do we really do that every time? And if it is blended learning, then yes, we must do it, because blended learning is a beautiful concept, but not an easy concept to plan and implement to yield our targeted learning outcomes. In our blended learning concept note, in which in that UGC committee, Professor Sandeep Sancheti, myself, Professor Amrinder Behr, entire team joined, and we came out with this IPSIT model concept. We will use this IPSIT for our designing blended learning environments. It may be a little bit of repetition, those who have already heard about IPSIT and read about IPSIT in draft concept note of blended learning, identifying resources and activities, providing resources and planning, announcing activities, supporting and providing scaffolding to learners, identifying learning gaps and providing feedback, which is actually the stage of formative evaluation, and the summative evaluation, that is testing. Let's see how to plan all these stages, because we are basically talking about planning. Whenever we talk about identifying resources and activities, it means that in blended learning, first we have online environment. Sometimes we may like to give choice to the learners about flexi environment. So a particular learner may say that I want to learn in online, and the other at the same time may say that I want to learn offline. In both the cases, are we ready? If it is only online part, in blended learning, of course, it will be a meaningful blend. Wherever we want to go for online and wherever we want to go for offline will be decided, defined. But in both the cases, we must have learning resources and we must plan activities, because again, blended learning is a blend of pedagogy and technology. So it's not only about technology, it's not only about pedagogy. Even when we choose resources, even when we plan activities, pedagogy is always there at the back of our mind. Why are we doing it? Why are we using a particular ICT tool? That question needs to be answered first to ourselves. So, out of resources and activities in online as well as in offline, let us see what do we do with the resources. So basically, yes, we need to allow learners, we are planning, we are identifying what are the resources, what are the useful, appropriate, most appropriate to the targeted group, what are the resources for reading and viewing, what are the resources which are not only for reading and viewing, can we have some resources which are interactive by the nature itself. And apart from the resources identified by the teacher, by the instructor, by the facilitator, are we planning to create, generate, or create an environment where there will be user generated resources? So the learners themselves will generate resources, create resources, but for that we need to create an environment. So again, if those are reading viewing resources, are we aiming at the material which will be individually read by the learner, or are we planning something which will be accessed by a team, by group? If interactive, is one single individual learner is interacting with the material, or are we planning to create some material for individualized activities, individualized interaction, or again group interaction? Now, various ICT tools and various types of resources will have their intricate feature, will have their inbuilt features which will allow us to create this kind of material. User generated, again, individual users can create material, but if we talk about co-creation, there are collaborative platforms which can be used for large groups of learners. Or we can have some cooperative learning strategies, very specific strategies which can be used for again generating the material. So what can be the learning resources which a facilitator is planning to identify? Half of the resources may be non-ICT, non-digital resources. And if we are talking about online, because here we are talking about the blend of offline and online, in class and out of class. So there may be many visuals, many diagrams. There may be books with QR codes. There may be some AR enabled books, articles, journals, papers. So many resources do not require devices for learners to use. So by blended learning, if there is misconception that, oh, blended learning, how can we achieve that? Because all the time students need internet, the organization needs internet and machines. No, it never says that. And you can see there can be case studies, there can be some exhibitions, there can be instructor developed games or ready games, cartoon strips, TED lectures. Now, if we move towards ICT based or internet based resources, then there are again ample blogs, infographics, podcast videos, animation, simulations, many resources can be the resources which can be planned and provided to the learners. Most importantly, OERs, and I do not think CIT participants need to be told about open educational resources, because the wealth of resources, the portal, the entire wealth of resources which CIT is today leading is basically in the form of OER. Is there any bandwidth issue now, if I may interrupt in between?
No, ma'am, you may continue.
Thank you. Now, how to provide resources, because IPSIT has P also. One thing is collecting resources, but the other thing is providing resources, so we can have various platforms. Again, some infrastructures. So, some physical kits, our corridors, our walls, our library, our communities, digital walls. Again, if we move to ICT platforms, low-cost devices, some mobile groups such as various groups which we use on mobile to interact with each other and to provide resources again. Internet, institutional networks are there, portals are there, and I will again talk about collaborative tools. I'm not going to show you here ICT tools because tomorrow you have session on ICT tools. But for providing resources, we can have our own learning management system. We can have, nowadays we have Swayam platform, other MOOC platforms. We have even some digital portals through which, and social networks, social media, we can use for providing resources. When we read this, this appears that this is what we all know, yes. But when we actually sit and plan something, do we really go, when we talk about resources, do we really go beyond videos? And when we talk about providing resources, are we using all these platforms, all these infrastructures for providing resources? That can be the area of exploration and planning and identification. So, again, if we provide resources, here are two examples. One is my Padlet wall. I'm not planning to take you to the wall. I can actually, just give me a moment. Yes. So, this is my Padlet wall where, 1 minute, I need to move the dial. Yeah. This is not for learners to write or post anything. Many of you must be knowing about Padlet wall. Any digital wall, basically. So here I have uploaded resources for learners. So one example of case, one example of animation, one example of scenario, screencast. So various formats of videos I wanted to show, and accordingly I have uploaded, and my participants will view those. So this is just for providing resources. Diksha has many resources. Again, I will not talk about this, but I am just reminding you that if you see Diksha resources, you will again get the entire continuum of types, various types of OERs. If we talk about activities, so again, there will be individualized activities, whole group activities where instructor will be facilitator, the entire class, or pair or small groups. We always say that flipped learning is one of the models which is very popular in blended learning. So in blended learning, we say that if we are providing all resources to learners to go through at their own convenience, at their own pace, then when they come to the class, what do we do? So when they come to the class, they have so many friends with them, peers with them, teachers with them. They can certainly be engaged in activities instead of going through the resources, or instead of treating the teacher as a resource. So now I am no more a resource, but they have many activities to do in the class, which they cannot do at home. If they are doing activities at home, then again I am planning some environment for that. So in the class, and if we use digital platforms, or if we give them some projects, group projects to do in the field, then this is a limited list of activities for us. And how many do we really plan in our blended learning session plan is a question. So we have many cooperative learning strategies. Some of you might be regularly using, some of you might have heard about the cooperative learning strategies such as think, pair, share, team, pair, solo, jigsaw, fishball, four corners or corners. So there are many cooperative learning strategies which are very systematic and interesting. So if you have just heard about it or have not read about it, please go to any resource and read about these cooperative learning strategies and try those in the class. Those are wonderful. And every strategy has its own features, pros and cons, hardly cons, I would say, but those really make learners to learn by themselves and in groups systematically. Co-creation, I will always promote co-creation because when students come together, whatever they create is just more meaningful again. Because so many brains work together, brainstorm together, plan something, and they create something. Otherwise, yes, exploration, if possible and wherever appropriate, simulations, problem solving environments, and nowadays, if you have heard about maker spaces, some spaces with many equipment, many gadgets where they can go, they can create, they can explore, they can experiment, and they can develop their even entrepreneur skills. And that's why maker spaces are popular nowadays. These maker spaces are also considered as the beginning of incubation centers for students. And again, S, scaffolding. So when we give them activities, what is our role, which is generally ignored and neglected. So we need to be facilitator. We need to guide them, or we need to just provide support wherever they require. If we have given them some milestones, if we have told them the target, and if they are exploring and moving towards the target, we are just there to see whether their paths are correct and at the right time. Bruner says that feedback at the right time is very important in the problem solving situations. Always at every step, if we go on giving them feedback, they get bored and tired, demotivated, because every time, wow, wow, correct, 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 we are telling them. So that should not be the situation, or we should not be giving them feedback at the moment where something very different or irreparable has happened. So there's no point telling whatever you did so far is absolutely wrong. So it's our responsibility to plan points of scaffolding also. Identifying gaps. So various continuous comprehensive evaluation strategies, right from our test, our small unit test or quizzes. We don't promote again written test. In our university, we have 50% right from the beginning, even before NEP came into existence. We always had last several years, 10 years, we had 50% internal, external. For internal unit tests, the tests are banned. We have presentations, we have assignments, we have group projects, and through that, the continuous evaluation happens. So some, again, contribution, learners' contribution in activities. Say if you are giving them some assignment on blog, their contribution, discussion forum, their contribution, we can grade that. We need to differentiate between learning assignments, learning activities, and formative assessment activities, because many a times learning has not happened, but some activity is happening, and those are graded, which I personally feel is a wrong approach of assessment. So those should be learning activities, and assessment activities should be marked by the teacher as assessment activities. Though I'm using the term teacher, I mean facilitator, because we are talking about blended learning environments. Summative, semester end examinations, of course, we all are used to that. Our practical exams, our Viva VOC, some major projects can be evaluated. Again, if the curriculum is planned accordingly, and if final tests, final exams are not towards grading, written exams, Then there can be major projects which can be assessed, reports, dissertations, we are aware in higher education, but portfolio. Again, portfolio is something which is very, very useful right from early children till higher education students. The nature of portfolio will change. Maybe if possible in higher education, we can go for e-portfolios, but the compilation of selected work, because if our learning outcomes are create level, skill based, then whatever they create, whatever they generate, whatever they prepare, come out with, develop, why can't they collect and preserve and say this is what I did during my entire learning cycle? And writing reflections about their experiences, that part takes us towards metacognition, because students are thinking here how they learned, how they did this assignment, what challenges did they face while doing that assignment. So in designing blended learning environment, can we plan such activities, such assessment strategies where the activities itself, the assessment strategy itself will take them to the higher level. So portfolio is fantastic example of such strategies. Coming back, meaningful blend of in-class and out-of-class activities, online and offline experiences, and where to use what will be our decision. So now, if we decide that yes, we are going through these stages and we are planning, then how do we plan? Again, do we just plan in our mind and say, yes, I will do this, I will do that? Will that work in blended learning environment? May not be. So for designing blended learning sessions, we need some plans, some charts, some maps. At B.Ed, even at teaching in diets, B.Ed colleges, we have been talking about session plans. Will blended learning session plan be different? In what sense? These elements will be common. We will work for our target audience. We will decide which class, which subject, which subtopics, what would be the duration and what will be the learning outcomes. I'm not talking about that because we are assuming that these are necessary, these are essential elements. We cannot move without these elements, but modular structures. In higher education, these structures help a lot, particularly in credit-based system. Are our module credit-based? Are there sub-modules? How many hours are we planning? So if we have this structure ready, this weightage ready, then we decide how much percentage for online, how much percentage for offline, in which module, what is the necessity, what is the nature of that module. So in our concept note also we have said that blended learning is not 60% syllabus in the class, next 40% syllabus online. It's not like that. It's a teaching learning approach. We need to decide how much my students will do online and how much they will do after coming to in face-to-face environment. And I have already shown you the activities and resources, various examples of activities, various examples of resources. Now sequencing those, planning those, and putting those on paper in black and white. I mean, typing, writing, anything. So, which module? For which module? Which resources? Are the resources digital or non-digital? Are those books, articles, the entire screen of examples which we always work on? We have seen that. Open educational resources, we have to think of those. Whether the material is copyrighted. If the material is copyrighted, have we taken permission? If we are using a photograph as a resource, have we taken permission if that is copyrighted? And instructor made. So if we do not really find a particular resource and we are interested in drawing that diagram or using 2-3 images and creating my own image, my own diagram, then instructor made resource and activities. So if it is out of class, here we have used the term out of class and not online, because out of class may be online also, but it may be the real field work also. And yes, that is also blend. We are blending out of class, digital and not digital experiences, activities here. So there may be discussion forum, there may be collaborative platform as Padlet, there may be concept mapping, mind mapping, infographics. If it is digital, what are the tools? For activities, we will require ICT platforms, we will require tools. So coming back to the Padlet, please see this example. Here, after the resource, learners are expected to add their examples and those examples will be checked by the instructor. The other example is levels of interactivity is one topic in our Masters of E-Learning curricula. So they read about, rather they see the video. I have my video on levels of interactivity. From that they pick up, they understand, they ask in the class if they have any difficulty, if they cannot really differentiate between two levels. They confirm their knowledge with their teacher and then they post examples of every type of interactivity. So we are immersive virtual reality interactivity and non-immersive virtual interactivity, contextual interactivity. They try to differentiate and they find suitable examples. So they have posted these examples. Teacher will be going through the examples and giving feedback. So here I will add my comment if I find that this example is not appropriate. So collaborative platform where everybody will be able to see everybody's examples and instructor will be able to give feedback. So writing about the platform. And if it is in class, then what am I going to do in the class? If they have access to all these resources, then when I go to the class, what do I do? Do I just ask them, have you seen the videos? Okay. So have you understood everything? Is there any issue in the video? Is there any problem? Is there something which you have not understood? Then you ask. So this will be very typical example of videos and understanding videos. And now if you compare the entire plethora world of resources and activities, we can move towards interactivity and certainly active learning. No, am I audible? Am I audible? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible. You may continue discussing about designing BL sessions.
Was the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am, the
Resources?
screen is visible. You may continue describing
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yes. So this is almost the last. We have come towards the end of my session. So again, digital and non-digital resources in the class. The resources, if we want them to view or access, use some resources inside classroom and activities, as I mentioned, when they come to the class, instead of just asking queries to them based on videos or based on some passive material, they can do many more activities when they come to the class. There can be small lecturettes, but not 90-minute, 60-minute or 2-hour lecture. Blended learning, I don't think has any place for 2-hour sessions or lectures, but we can have small lecturettes, some activities such as concept mapping. Now, if you see one example of mind mapping and concept mapping, if you do not have devices in the classroom, we can bring drawing papers, chart papers, and they can be together and drawing concept maps. If they have access to digital media inside class, or if our class is happening in the lab, then they can collaborate. They can use some tools. There is no dearth of tools like Miro and Concept Map, Mind Map tools, Mindomo, many other tools they can use, and collaboratively they can draw their concept maps. We can give them quizzes and games. So this entire chart, entire plan, if you can see, will be our blended learning design plan. So as I mentioned, it will be different than our session plans. It will have out of class mode, in class mode, and platforms for both the things. So again, if we take from the right from the beginning, whatever resources, whatever activities, if we sequence them meaningfully, then we can imagine how the entire learning experiences till the assessment will be a beautiful experience for our learners, and not only beautiful, but they will be able to achieve majority of learning outcomes with this blend, because we have blended all these experiences for them. So, Ms. Simran, do we take up some questions, or do you have any particular slide or point where you want me to elaborate further?
Ma'am, we will surely take a few questions, but we still have around 20 minutes left in the conversation. If there are
That's
certain areas that you would like to describe to our viewers, you are free to do so.
Yes, then in that case, what I will do, I will just show the platform. I was not planning to show the platform as such, because I am not sure what is going to be dealt in tomorrow's session. But this is one I have already shown you, the Padlet platform. But if we talk about simple Google tools, many tools give us chance to collaborate, so we can upload, our students can upload many resources. We can create a lot of environments for them. We can blend. I was talking about blending of technology and pedagogy. What do we mean by that? So, PQP is a cooperative learning strategy. This particular strategy says that whatever products individual learners do, after creating that, after writing something, or after creating something, after developing, producing, we give it to our team members. And our team members, students. By our team members, I mean learners team. So if this is a team of Nidhi, Samia, Riya, and Samiksha. This is Samiksha's product evaluation chart. This is simple Google Doc, where, because this is collaborative collaborative platform, same product is being viewed and analyzed by 3 students. So first they praise how Samiksha's work is good, what are good elements in that. If they have not understood anything from her work, they post questions, and if they have any suggestions on the work, they try to suggest. Samiksha, it will be good in your review session if you do this. And then Samiksha is responding to everything. Yes, I guess, because I saw videos for that topics. So why? Why did you do so? So she has justified. If she doesn't have anything to justify, she will say, yes, your question is right. I should have taken care of this particular point. And if they are praising, she says, thank you. I'm using the term she because whatever work I will be showing, or I'm showing you, is from Women's University. So all our master degree students of e-learning, MA, MSc e-learning program. So this is what I mean. Then they all are assessing Nidhi's work. So it goes on. Simple Google Doc can allow us, this platform can allow us to use PQP strategy, praise question policy strategy. Even we use Padlet as for 4 corners or corner strategy. Instead of in real face-to-face situation, when we conduct corners, we take students in the campus, and we have those 4 elements or 4 types, and what as per their preferences they rush to the relevant tree, and then they make their groups. Here we give them choice. Say for example, if you simply give them Google form with 4 choices, and then whatever choice they have, they are supposed to choose. For example, if you ask a question for this particular area, which interactivity do you think is most appropriate interactivity? So those who select reflective will discuss why reflective. Those who select hyperlink will discuss why hyperlinked interactivity. So this is one way how we can choose our ICT platforms to enable us to use our cooperative learning strategies. Maybe cooperative learning strategies, maybe some different activities. For example, activities such as blogging, where we can actually use blogs. Simple assignments, when we tell them that write your examples of all levels of revised taxonomy. This kind of, now instead of Padlet, I can use any other. If we have any LMS, we will use LMS. But we will find some environment where they can type, they can post, and we can give them feedback there and there. And at the end, teacher can open simultaneously, or at the end, open for others to read and view. So this is something where the students can read, work, and other students can view what is written. Okay. So converted into activity. So you can see, I might have deleted this. Yes, I have deleted the responses to create a blank Padlet. Let me just see this. Yeah. So you can see that students have posted examples, and wherever those examples are to be corrected, I have posted. I know the font size is very small. My point is just that we first need to decide our pedagogy. Tools, digital resources, ICT tools should not be taking the front seat. Those platforms should be after our identified resources and activities. Whichever is suitable, appropriate, will allow our students to do activities we can use. Or otherwise, of course, when they are in the class or even when they are outside, when we can blend offline activities, non-digital activities also. So the point is basically, as I said, the entire environment of, I'll come back to the previous screen, the first screens, where the entire environment is a beautiful blend of, yeah, different modes and different choices. And there can be continuum also. Continuum of freedom to learners, no, very low freedom to learners, to extreme exploration, extreme freedom to learners. And again, where to decide which level, to what level we want our learners to be free on their own, whether they should explore or whether they should follow instructions, whether they should go for demonstration and try to do the exercise as it is. That will depend on the nature of the content, and that's why learning outcomes are very important. And that is the reason I first showed ADDIE, where we design learning outcome. We first analyze our content, we first analyze our learners, we design learning outcomes, and after that, after the phase of analysis and after the phase of design, the phase of IPSIT will start. So the IPSIT phase is typically for design. Once learning outcomes are designed, then designing learning environments will start, and that time IPSIT will help us. So I think I have shown some examples, and I am somewhere sure that if you plan blended learning environments systematically, and if you decide that at least one topic per month, let me take through blended approach, we will be able to develop some of our own resources also. We will be able to identify good resources for our students and give them good learning experiences. Yes, Ms. Simran.
Few questions for you. So if you allow, could we take the questions? So ma'am, you just said that we can at least try to teach one topic with the help of blended learning when it comes to the process of teaching and learning. So there is a significant question from one of our viewers, that it seems to be a Herculean task sometimes to choose the right topic. with the help
Yes.
of which students can understand better, maybe through blended learning. So, how to go about and choose the topics?
Yes, that's a billionaire question because when we started talking about interactive multimedia, I always tell my students that out of 100 topics in our syllabus, we are getting only 1 lakh rupees. So the choice is if I have to develop interactive multimedia in that 1 lakh rupees, which will be the topics for which I will develop e-content. Similarly, which are the topics which are complex in nature, which has potential of doing activities and accessing resources even in online environment or outside my classroom. I'm not getting it. Yes, sorry, switched on. uh, Basically, the potential of that topic. Yeah, thank you. The topic needs to have potential. The topic may be complex topic. By chance, if you have developed your own resources or if you find many good resources of that topic, and if you feel that why should the entire topic be dealt in the class if there are so many resources available, and most importantly, if the topic has application value. Why I said one topic? Because I want uh, somewhere the teachers can start experimenting with designing blended learning. So the first topic can come from their experience where there is a potential of application, cognitive skills also. Because always when we say application, we think of psychomotor skills, but if the topic has some cognitive skills, we want to really, if we really want them to approach a problem, do something, try to reach to the solution. In such cases, wherever you feel problem solving approach should be used, we can use blended learning because whatever resources they need to access for understanding the problem, coming out with solutions, they can access outside issue, internet issue.
Ma'am,
Okay. Again, I'm worried about the bandwidth issue.
let's also take another question from our viewer. One of our viewers is asking us, is hybrid learning different from blended learning?
Thank you for this question. I had totally skipped this part because I was not thinking of concepts. In my class, if some students are sitting in some different locations and some students are sitting in the class, there are ample of vendors which are telling us the technology that I have students in front of me. So I am connected to them. At the same time, I have some online students. So nowadays, students say that could we at least log in? I am not well. Would you please plan something for me? I do not want to miss this topic. Fine, I am in the class, I am talking and we are discussing something, but we are connected with the online students. That is hybrid learning. That is hybrid mode actually, and which is many times misconceptualized or mixed with blended learning. Blended is a learning approach and hybrid is a mode, I would say.
Thank you so much for answering that. Let us take one last question. As we
Yes.
all know that one size doesn't fit all, and nowadays when we are being more, I should say, aware about the inclusive classroom setup. So one of our viewers has this question, that is there any specific design for blended learning approach, especially for students with special educational needs? And I believe she is trying to ask about the children with special needs.
Would you just repeat the last part? I missed some of the
Yes,
parts.
the question is there any specific blended learning design that we can use for children with special needs?
With
Special needs.
truly speaking, there may not be. specific designs because the basic approach is blending different learning experiences. So blended learning says that every instructor, according to the target audience and according to various needs, learning outcomes, should design such an environment which will not be restricted only to classroom walls, but will take advantage of online environment and also take advantage of the classroom beyond four boundaries. Now, blended learning doesn't or design doesn't talk about the devices. But if we talk about special needs, then there are devices, there are software, there are resources, where to use why, at what point of time will be our decision. So blended learning is again an approach in any type of learning with any target audiences. It will be entirely facilitator's decision to choose right resources, right devices, right platforms. So I would say whenever you need learners with special need in your own inclusive environment and do some activities, you need to plan such activities. But wherever you feel that for meeting the pace, you are providing them self-paced learning experiences, please provide them. For example, almost every year, last few years, we are having LD students in the class. So when you are having, even in higher education for that matter, that's why I'm talking about my class. So if you have some students who cannot go with the instructor space, then we have many resources uploaded in LMS. If there are some physical challenges or if they are differently able, devices and resources specifically developed for them are available, but we need to decide which resources to provide them. So it's about devices and resources and software available, I would say, and I will not talk about design as such.
All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, for responding to the queries of all our viewers. Thanks once again for connecting with us on the third day of our online training program, describing at length about the designing of blended learning. Thanks a lot. Thank you to all the viewers who have connected with CIT NCERT for this particular live training program, and as promised, let's have a look at the website and also try and understand about the training program that we are conducting for all our viewers. So it is very simple. All you have to do is just type www.ciet.nic.in on Google, and this is the website where you will land upon. In order to know more about the training program, click on events. Under events, you see there is an option workshop/training. So let's just scroll down. The three kinds of activities have been mentioned for you under current activity right from 11th of September till 15th September. You can see it's online training on blended learning. So once we click here, we see all the details like the detailed banner of the program, the objectives to conduct the online training sessions, and now who all can participate. This is with regard to the post session activity where students, teacher educators, parents, administrators, general public, they can all connect with us and they can participate in our online training sessions by raising their questions and also in the post session activity. So this is the detailed program schedule for all of you, and soon we will be uploading the link for today's program and also the presentation. Then let's skip this part and let's quickly talk about how you all can participate. Now step 1 is registration, and let me remind you once again, you can register yourself anytime by clicking on this link and scanning this QR code, watching the live training programs on NCERT official, also connecting with us through our eVidya channel 6 to 12, and the timing is 4 p.m. till 5 p.m. from 11th September till 15th of September. Today it's the third day of the training program. Now the participation in the post session activity, the opening date of the assignment is 15th September 2023 by 6 p.m. the day when we are going to conclude the training program. The closing date is 25th of September 2023 by 6 p.m. and you will also receive a certificate of participation on your registered email ID within 30 days of taking the post session quiz, and if you score over 70%, then you can also receive a certificate from CIT NCERT. and we always keep on saying that your feedback matters a lot. So keep on writing to us and submitting your feedback at this Google form, or either by scanning the QR code. And in case of any doubts and queries, you all know the different mediums through which you can connect with us. And we have our training help desk ID on your screens. It is training.helpdesk@cet.nic.in, and also our contact number flashing on your screens. So viewers, tomorrow at the same time, do connect with us, because we are going to elaborate at length about the technology tools and the resources used in blended learning. Thank you so much to Professor Jayashree ma'am for connecting with us today. Thank you to the viewers as well. Do not go anywhere. Next up, we have our session of Sahyog, where we try to provide guidance for mental well-being and psychosocial support to all the students and viewers watching our programs. And also a detailed description of the availability of NCERT textbooks is flashing on your screens. Keep watching Evidya channels and stay connected with us. Namaskar.
Namaskar.